What's up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC, and with me is Tommy.
Hey, guys.
As a reminder, to follow us on our Twitter account at CCG_WrestleCast. Send us a message, leave us a comment. Especially today, we're going to be recapping Bound for Glory, Impact Wrestling's big pay-per-view of the year, formerly in TNA. Show was it was great as a ruckus crowd. It was in New York at the Melrose Ballroom. The venue itself just was really kind of small.
Yeah, it was really, really tight and compact.
Yeah, it felt like something you might see at like a local independent show, but
or very, very early ECW.
Very true. Very
yeah.
much so. It was definitely, I think, of all the pay-per-views we reviewed this year, including All In, this was the smallest crowd. But
how crazy is that? All In beat out. Never mind.
Yeah, this venue. I mean, hey, it's like a ballroom. The venue itself only had a capacity of 1,200, but it was. Definitely crowded. It was definitely something into it. Impact did a great job marketing this, especially on social media. They've taken full advantage of that.
Yeah.
And the show had its Impact Wrestling feel, from the promos to the matches. Camera work was a little shoddy. You felt like the hard cam was like a little too close to it.
Yeah, because I probably was just given the building.
Yeah, probably. But when they try to cut to like the ringside cameras on moves, it's always Impact. And TNA had this problem too. Sometimes they cut away at the wrong time and you miss the big spot.
Man. So, you're driving crazy.
Yeah, but still, we're going to kind of go through the results of the show, how we did on our predictions, and give our WrestleCast rating on Bound for Glory. We're also going to address the Crown Jewel controversy, I'll say, if it is controversy, whether WWE should still have the show or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then some potential rumors of some top New Japan stars possibly coming to WWE this year, or next year, maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
So we'll start with Bound for Glory. The show opened with a extensive promo about New York, given mostly by LAX, Santana Ortiz.
Makes sense.
And into that, we got into the opening match, which was Matt Sydal and Ethan Page versus Rich Swan and his partner of his choosing, which was revealed the Tuesday before Bound for Glory to be Willie Mack.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy and I both said that Rich Swan and his partner would win, and they did. Swan pinned Matt Sydal after a Phoenix Splash. This was a high-energy start to the show. Crowd was definitely into it. Rich Swan is he's the kind of character that always gets people going.
Yeah, well, so, I think when you have an opener that includes Matt Sydal, period, that's pretty much going to kick off any show is with a high energy opener. Matt Sydal is going to deliver that. Rich Swan, of course, I think is one of the perfect guys to go off of that with. And you got the heavies and Ethan Page and Willie Mack. But Willie Mack is a lot quicker and a lot more acrobatic than people will give him credit for. It's I remember one of the first big matches he had was in PWG against Davey Richards. And even Davey Richards, after the match, got on the mic and said, just give him his props, just because, the guy's incredible. If you've ever seen him, dude's a beast.
Yep. A few high-flying spots here, and you really got to feel to see how small the venue was. It was kind of, I don't know, like a diagram, but you had the entrance, which went right up to the ring. And
old school style.
Yeah, old school style. And along the sides, it was very thin. You kind of had to side shuffle there.
Yeah.
But you had all the room for the high spots right in this big open area. Problem is, they were diving right at the hard camera, so sometimes you couldn't see who was down there, what was going on. So, that the venue was so small, the commentators were up in the balcony.
Yeah.
Which was different.
Yeah.
It's club level seating, if you will. So.
Yeah. I think it's just they're at this point they're we'll get booked or we can get booked and we'll just make it work, which sometimes you just have to do.
They got a pay-per-view.
So I guess it works out for everybody.
So the next match was the Eli Drake Open Challenge. Now this one was announced after we had recorded last week's show, so I did put a video out on our Twitter account about what Tommy and I's picks were going to be. We both said whoever challenged Eli Drake was probably going to win this. Little did we know.
Yeah. Okay, in our defense, that was on us because the fact that it turned out to be freaking Ellsworth.
Well, he cut the promo saying it's going to be anybody from New York, anyone who I want the toughest in New York to come out and challenge me. Out comes James Ellsworth. Now, obviously, the hardcore New York crowd, an Impact crowd, is not going to be so nice with somebody like James Ellsworth. Now,
New York is almost just as vicious as Chicago. It just depends on the situation.
Say what you want about Ellsworth, he got over in WWE, right? So okay, but
and he's parlayed that to a wonderful career.
Yes,
I can't get mad. I can't even get mad at him.
But when Eli questioned him on his New York chops, why, if he's not even from New York, I loved his response. Well, I dated a girl that was from Staten Island, and I lived in her basement until she threw me out. Great job. That was hilarious.
I mean, and you have to think that somewhere Carmella was laughing at that. Like,
yeah.
She had to have heard that and just like fell out laughing. Like, you know what? Whatever. I don't care. Awesome. That's funny.
Yeah. The man's making a career out of his jobber stunt in WWE, and props to him. So
I mean,
yeah.
Who can fault him for that?
No.
He's getting paid. Yes. If he gets paid getting beat up, so what? His check's still cash.
It was a quick match won by Eli Drake.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, is anybody out there better than me? Calls out Hall of Famers, Hall of Famer being a keyword. The newly inducted Impact Wrestling Hall of Famer, Abyss, comes out and proceeds to wipe the floor with him.
Yeah.
Black hole slam, choke slam through a table.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know how much longer we'll see Abyss in the ring, especially since he's been inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Buddies and I went to Victory Road years ago when he was in Houston, and hanging out with him, he's one of the nicest guys.
He really is.
Yeah.
The very first time I met him, because he's been in San Antonio quite a bit since then. But the first time I met him was WrestleMania. Which one was it in Arlington? What number was that? 31? 32.
Yeah.
I don't know. I lost track of the numbers. But WrestleCon was happening in the hotel where Ring of Honor was. Now, I didn't know this until I went to the Ring of Honor on Friday night. So the next day, I went down to WrestleCon, and he was the second person I met. The first person I met was Lance Storm, which I was not going to pass that opportunity. So I met Abyss, and we talked. And we talked for a few minutes because there was no one at his table, and he actually gave me an autograph for free. I paid for the picture with him, but we talked so long, he gave me the autograph for free because I guess he just liked talking to me. Don't know why he gave me a picture for free, don't care. All I know is that was awesome. He was awesome. And, because I hear that he's doing a lot of backstage stuff now, which, of course, who wouldn't want him to be a backstage agent at this point?
He's got great knowledge.
Yeah,
he knows how to put him out.
Yeah, I mean, because I like one of the things that when he was going to Hall of Fame, Mick Foley said, "I'm used to being in meetings with people who tell me to tone down my ideas, and I got in a meeting with him, and I had to tell him tone down your ideas." I was like, and that makes me think because you see the matches Abyss has. It's like, what is he saying that's like, no, that's too far? Because this man's done literally everything possible. What has he been told? It's like, okay, Abyss, calm down. That could kill you. No, but it'd be great. Yeah, but you'd die. Yeah, but the business would. No, Abyss, we want you alive.
Yeah.
No. You can't actually fall on Janice on your chest. That means it'll puncture your heart. But it'd be funny. No. The funny part is that I know how he does it himself. He doesn't even put anybody else's life at risk. Like, yeah, no, I'll do it. I'll be set on fire. Go for it.
For the business, man.
Yeah.
Right? Congrats again to Abyss. Great.
Very much so.
Yes.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Next match was for the Knockouts Championship. Tessa Blanchard versus Taya Valkyrie, and I got this one right, picking Tessa to retain.
Yeah. I'm not mad. It's still great for both of them, so I'm not mad. I just like to send Taya in it, but I'm not mad.
The crowd, though, was very into this match, top to bottom. Arguably, this was the match of the night. They put on a hell of a show, and just everything they did. It was brutal. It was technical. It told a great story. Tessa winning after a top rope code breaker. After so many false finishes, you didn't know if that was going to be the end or not.
Yeah.
But like I said last week, I think she's probably one of the top women's wrestlers in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to be the big star. I can see her having a very long title run as the Knockouts champion. And still, with Impact now, she can wrestle anywhere. She can wrestle independent. So you can see her anywhere.
So I think she's in the WOW. I think Women of Wrestling. Yeah. I think she's signed with them too, if I'm not mistaken. I try to remember because I think she announced that. I was trying to remember if she announced it or if I just read it somewhere else. I think she announced that she's in WOW now.
It was a great match to see. I was very happy to steal the show. I thought it should have gone on a little later, but hey,
they took that.
I think they took that early spot as motivation to put something on.
You know, funny you mentioned that, because like I actually read something Bully Ray said, because like that same situation when it came to, because we keep mentioning Joe and AJ Styles. I could probably mention this later if there was, like, he said, Bully Ray said, like, one reason that promoters will do that is because it's already guaranteed those guys are going to steal the show. You know, they're going to outshine whoever's next anyway. So kind of put them in the middle to kind of give the crowd a chance to build back up, because whatever those are going to steal the show. So I think the same thing kind of happened with Tessa and Taya. I mean, because I think both of them like do their best to steal the show every single time.
Yeah, I get that, but it's like, you know, these guys deserve to be at the end. They deserve the spotlight. Like, sometimes you get to these main events and shows and the crowd is just dead. They have no interest. They don't care. You mentioned we were WrestleMania 32. Yeah, we were WrestleMania 32, and you know, Taker and Shane, and then you had Rock coming out with the attendance thing, the Bray Wyatt thing, and then finally they get to Triple H and Roman Reigns at the end, and it was just so dead in that crowd.
Yeah,
because nobody was really into it. You know, That was the frustrating part.
That match could have used a Seth Rollins run in for no reason.
If he was healthy, right?
Yeah, seriously. That would have been great.
I don't know. It's just, I get what they're doing with that. But my thought is, you know, if you don't think these people are going to put them, or, you know, put these people late in the card, and they're not going to step up, they're supposed to be because they're the big stars or something, well, put them earlier, see if they'll step up their game.
Yeah.
You know, piss them off. I mean, I remember one WrestleMania where Undertaker was wrestling Batista, and he got upset because he was middle of the card. And
that was a really odd choice. I remember that year. That was maddeningly confusing. I never understood that.
He put so much effort into that match and came out the back to follow that. So hey, that serves motivation for the ladies.
That was a great match too. Yeah, sure.
Now we went next to Eddie Edwards versus Moose. Tommy and I both picked Eddie Edwards, which we technically got right because the match went into a DQ before it really got started. So, you know, it was a setup. Killer Cross was there. They're attacking Eddie Edwards. And who makes the save but Tommy effing Dreamer?
The guy who like we said, was once too pretty for ECW.
Who his debut in wrestling in ECW was 25 years ago, a few weeks ago. And it was just this month. Yeah.
Sorry.
But he came out, cut a promo. They did an impromptu no DQ tag match. And it was hardcore wrestling at its finest.
Isn't anytime Tommy Dreamer in a match just default and becomes no DQ? Oh, it's Tommy Dreamer. Okay, it's no DQ now.
Not necessarily.
I know, but it just feels like that. It's
on
just
TV anyway.
Yeah. Oh, it's Tommy Dreamer. The match is no DQ. Wait.
Hey, he's the innovator of violence, but man, he can still go. He still looks like he's in great shape.
Oh yeah, he does.
Crowd was into it. Him and Eddie Edwards were great together.
Probably be able to keep him young.
Yeah. I enjoyed that some of the New York Giants players on the sides there were starting to get involved with Moose a little bit because he used to play for the Patriots, but it didn't really stop him very much. There's a reason you guys are 1-5 right now. Okay?
Oh wow! Shots fired.
I have a friend that's a Giants fan. It's okay. So him and my Titans his team and my Titans are playing later this year, so that'll be fun.
Oh yeah. I can't wait for this to come back during that conversation.
I flash back to it, yeah.
Yeah.
But Eddie Edwards and Tommy Dreamer got the win. Great match. I don't know if we'll count that as 2 wins for us because Eddie Edwards won twice, but
I don't know. That's all right.
We'll think about that.
Yeah, hard to say.
Yeah. Next match we got was the OVE Rolls, Ohio versus Everything, versus Cage, Phoenix, and Pentagon Jr. Now, we both took the Luchadors and Cage, and unfortunately got that wrong with OVE winning.
Yeah.
But hey, it was their match, you know?
Yeah.
So, Sami Callihan really stood out for me, I thought. He's really emerged so much since he left WWE.
Yeah.
We saw him at a midnight show after WrestleMania 32. Compared to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it was like, you know, this...
that was a long day. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah. I feel like they could use this match to really showcase what these guys can do.
Yeah. Even
though it was like a no DQ, no count out street fight, basically. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, OVE. I mean, they always impressed me. Like, because way back in the day, the Chris brothers had a number of different names. I can't remember what the original one was in Ring of Honor because they were in ROH for a good while. Mm-hmm. But then they kind of disappeared from the scene for a bit. Don't really know what happened, but then they reemerged a couple years back, especially like with Wrestle Circus when it was really going, and now they are in Impact and everything. And it's just that they've just gotten better. And and before they weren't really doing the hardcore style; they were just doing the high flying style. But now they've incorporated it with the hardcore, with the deathmatch type thing, which is really cool. And so, yeah, it makes sense that they would win their own type of match. But then again, we've seen tons of people name the matches after their own gimmicks and lose anyway. Raven. I'm a Raven fan. I love Raven. He's one of my favorites of all time, not just in the old ECW, whatever. But I can't think of anyone who's lost more Ravens rules matches than Raven.
That's true. He had a chance to
So, but,
yeah.
Sami Callihan, I think he's one of those guys where it's really hard for him to be in the constraints of WWE. Like, it's hard for him to be in those, like kind of PG era type deals.
I think honestly he felt like if he got in there, got main roster, he'd like, you know what, they're going to kind of trap me and I'm not going to be as big a star. And I think he's going out a la Cody, a la AJ Styles, and making a name for themselves and maybe come back to WWE. I'm not saying he needs it.
Yeah.
But they do pay the most money.
True.
So this could be a good
unless he somehow gets to New Japan, which at this point I wouldn't put past New Japan at all. Just look at all the guys that they've booked already, and like you never thought that they'd be there.
Well, if they're looking for more Gaijin talent, because some rumors are coming out.
Yeah, there's also another rumor about the Gaijin talent that I will talk about later if we get to it, but it's BS. But yeah.
So we get cut back after a little promo, and there's no canvas, there's no mats,
okay.
The corner turnbuckles are gone.
Okay.
Setting up our concrete death match.
Which I was like, okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'll allow this.
I just saw boards and I was like, oh my god, this shit's gonna hurt.
Now this I think this is a fantastic case for all the people who want to know what's underneath the ring mat, who don't follow wrestling. And because I've told people for years, like there's like a lot, especially when I was really getting back into wrestling. And I had never seen a ring taken apart before this until I got back in the independent shows, and then I saw it. And so a lot of people would ask me, it's like, well, what is that underneath that ring? I was like, it's a very, very thin mat and plywood.
Still hurts.
They're like, what do you mean plywood? I mean plywood. I mean 2x4 plywood. I mean, they are slamming each other down on essentially a sheet over plywood. And because believe me, it feels like a sheet when you're being slammed, when you're 250 and the guy 250 is slamming you on the ground.
And depending on the ring, it may or may not have a spring. So
yeah.
So
that way, if it has no spring and you still bounce, you really hit that hard.
Earlier in the show, this was supposed to be a 6-man tag, but earlier in the show, pretty much after the first match, we saw that Conan had been attacked, most likely by Hernandez and Homicide from OGs and King. So we basically got a 3-on-2 to start with the OGs taking on LAX.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Conan later comes in. Man, Conan, getting old, buddy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when this match was first booked. I didn't want to say it like we were talking.
It's been a long time from the WCW days we remember.
Yeah, like
where you were cussing in Spanish on TV and nobody knew what you were saying, so they couldn't bleep it out. Good job there.
It's so funny because even now he couldn't get away with that. But in the 90s, no, it's like well, we don't know what he's saying, and everyone who speaks Spanish is like
nowadays you send through Google Translate. It's like, all right.
Oh, is that how you say that in Spanish?
Hey, well, it was a TVMA show for this one, so they
for sure
a lot of stuff. But
I think most shows with semicolon have to be
anyway. With the finish, LAX wins. Tommy got this pick correct, and damn it,
I love the OGs. It's just I just do the new guys.
I mean, I have an issue with Conan bringing back the LAX and it's being Santana Ortiz. Maybe I'm marking out a bit because we've known Homicide Hernandez for so long.
We really have.
Yeah, and
longer than I thought I'd ever know Homicide for sure.
I see Homicide. We can always talk baseball. It's kind of cool, but it's. Still, it was cool to see those guys back in the ring. Those bumps looked brutal, though.
Yeah.
I was just like, I was cringing every time.
I think that's one of those kind of matches make you appreciate the ring mat. Like, oh, God, please put it back on. Please, God, put up the turnbuckles again, please.
It was, I was afraid, honestly, they were going to take a bump. Those boards were going to go sliding off, and all of a sudden you have a hole in the ring, and before you know it, someone's going through the actual ring.
Yeah.
The ring held up. It was a pretty intense match. There was a lot of New York pride in this match.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then, of course, King got laid out at the end, and he got a Puerto Rican flag draped over him, which The crowd seemed to cheer, but hey, what goes, what goes. So.
Yeah. Wrestling.
Now,
gotta love it.
when they announced this on Impact on last Thursday, and I put the video out, like I said, with our predictions for it, I think we both had the feeling that it was going to be Ali taking on Su Yung in the Undead Realm. There's supposed to be some sort of match down there.
Yeah.
Like the Hardy Compound, the Final Deletion, or Ultimate Deletion, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whichever one.
Yeah, but this was actually a very extensive skit. Great to kill time so they can put the ring back together.
Which didn't occur to me so much. It took me a lot longer to realize that that's what they were doing before I really caught on. It's like, wow, I'm sad because I should have figured that out sooner.
But Allie's idea was that she was going to head to the Undead Realm to save Kiera Hogan, but this turned into a B horror movie, which was so bad it's good. I gotta say.
I think right now,
with the obvious rubber axe, which is great.
I think right now that's kind of the point. It's like people like, especially I'm giving a lot of credit to Don Callis only because I think he's a really unsung. I think he's an unsung mad genius of professional wrestling. I've always believed that about him, and I think they probably sat in the meeting, which like, what if we did this? And they're saying, but that's stupid. Exactly. What if we fully acknowledge that this is ridiculous, but go for we are dead serious?
The first time it gets ridiculous is when she chops up a undead zombie or a bridesmaid zombie, and you get a splash of blood on the camera and on herself. Fantastic. I don't know if they use Kool-Aid or what.
It's so awful, but you gotta love it. This is the times when I think, this is the time when I think with wrestling, it's like you can just have the most fun with it.
I just had fun watching.
Yeah, it's like
fun.
Yeah, you know what? Because you can have the technical geniuses of your Zack Sabre Juniors, your hardcore amazingnesses of guys like McFoley. You have your all around brawlers with Joe and AJ Styles, but then you can have just straight up nonsensical. Turn your brain on for a second and enjoy this fun.
Yeah. Because
it's like, yes, from a wrestling purist standpoint, this is awful. But from a purely having fun with wrestling standpoint, this is with the Final Deletion, which, by the way, once again, should never have taken off. Broken Matt Hardy, I have always said, is the one thing that should never have worked in pro wrestling. But damn it if it wasn't one of the best things that ever happened. I think it gave Matt Hardy another few years more than he thought he'd ever have. And even though he's might retire, it's still a great gimmick. And if that music ever hits, he just walks out and cuts a promo, which I'm entirely for. The crowd will lose their freaking minds. Delete is an essential wrestling word now.
I would love it if he goes in the Hall of Fame one day. Just he stays in full Broken Matt Hardy character for his acceptance speech. Would be great.
I would love that. Just looking. Yes.
Back to this though. It was cool to see. For one, I kind of chuckled when Su Yung came out. I mean, this Su Yung Ali thing has been going on. It's been great.
Yeah.
I'm actually enjoying this gimmick by Su Yung.
So much different when I first met her. Before I first met her, because she used to be in ACW, she used to have just regular gear. She'd have face paint every now and again.
She was kind of working off the whole WWE developmental talent and everything. But this kind of gave her some rage. Excuse me.
Yeah, and this has
been good.
I love it. It's so great. It's not that it's like no one's ever done. No, people have done this. It's just that how she's taking it and just running with it is just great. I love people who can take any kind of gimmick like this and remember that it's one reason why I think we love Abyss so much is because he took the whole monster gimmick, which of course had been done. Kane was still a thing and had been for a while at that point. Yeah. But he took the whole monster Abyss thing and just ran with that and every time it got stale, he evolved himself a bit. That works.
One surprise appearance, I guess, was that Su Yung. Ali got assisted by Rosemary, who made an appearance at the end of the realm, and Ali and Kiera Hogan were able to get out. Rosemary's still stuck in there battling Su Yung. So where this goes from here, we'll see.
I just hope we get an actual match between the two and another bad horror movie because I'm here for both those things. Rosemary is also one of the hottest female wrestlers who scares the living crap out of me. I'm so attracted to her, but so terrified at the exact same time. It's very, very confusing when I watch her wrestle.
For those that may knock on Impact for some stuff like this is an alternative to WWE.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that. I mean, Lucha Underground itself is a great thing, and it's doing things very different from many wrestling shows.
Absolutely, Lucha Underground. So, yeah.
Enjoy this stuff, because you appreciate it a lot later. I think you kind of enjoy it for what it is now. It was entertaining.
I think it's better when it's doing it something and not trying to be just a straight-up WWE clone.
Yep. But the ring was set up nicely as we cut back
to the
main event for the Impact World Championship. Austin Aries, who you picked, versus Johnny Impact.
Yeah, I know.
Who won after Starship Pain. This match, crowd, I think, was into it, but they were ready, really hopeful to see Johnny Impact take the reins.
Yeah, that's true.
He definitely deserves a title win.
Yeah, I think he does. He does,
But
for sure.
As good a match as this was, all everybody seems to want to talk about now is the end of it because of what happened. And this is for you, Impact, it's a great way to get people talking if this is a work. But
yeah,
for those that don't know, so Impact hits Starship Pain, gets the pin, 1, 2, 3. Somebody felt it was a great match, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't want to take away from any of it.
Yeah.
You guys had the crowd into it. You guys had every story being told. It was really awesome with your crew by ringside. Taya Valkyrie taking a freaking suicide dive from Austin Aries, like champ.
She could take a beat down for sure. Ty is a champ.
Right. Yeah. So that was everything is just told a great story. These promos leading up to all this felt personal.
Yeah, they really
even
did.
at Mrs. Hall of Fame thing, it was just personal.
Yeah, that was
the TMZ thing was a nice touch.
It was.
But so after the match was over, 1, 2, 3, it's finally over. They're celebrating. This is Johnny Impact's moment. If you just lost, either lay down, maybe hand him the title as a respect, or just roll out and sneak away. Don't take up the camera time. But Austin Aries stood right back up 4 seconds later, steps out of the ring, doesn't really seem to acknowledge Johnny Impact at all, and then immediately looks up at the balcony where Don Callis was and says, basically says, if you watch it, I've watched it a few times, I've had to go back and watch it myself.
Yeah.
And it just said, are you happy? Are you effing happy? And then F you, flips him the bird, walks out, flipping the bird to the rest of the crowd. And then if you look at Johnny Impact and he's like, are you effing kidding me? So, it's a sign of disrespect, honestly. Whether this was a work or a shoot, I don't know. There's news out there that Austin Aries' contract has been expired in TNA. So if this, or TNA, Impact, excuse me. So if this
we can't help it.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, we don't have TNA for so long. If this was his way to go out, it's kind of like, you're going into business for yourself. Is this a work? Is this a shoot? If it is a shoot, I'm not in the wrestling business, honestly, but my always thoughts has been something like this you handle backstage. You always keep, you don't blur the lines between what's going on outside the curtain with what's going on behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And I think I've always appreciated it. Obviously, nowadays, we see internet news, we find out rumors, we have reporters or leaks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I personally try not to watch or read spoilers on shows. I try and watch it live because I don't want to know. I like to be surprised on the final product. And even with all the news that comes out on the internet, we still know there are things that go on backstage that we have no idea is what's really going on.
Yeah.
Prime example, as much as we might complain about booking decisions sometimes, it was great to hear a report that Shane McMahon's sons text their grandfather Vince when they're not happy with the booking.
I laughed way too hard.
That's awesome.
When I heard that.
Vince, listen to your grandsons. But anyway,
seriously.
Yeah. Back to Austin Aries, it's like, hey, you've been around so long, I get it. You got this bad attitude, but if this was a shoot, if you were going to business for yourself, I'm like, that's not a good look, man.
Yeah.
It really isn't. If they're working us to maybe he's taking just a quick time off, they'll sign him to a new contract and build something with Johnny Impact, or maybe these two guys really just don't like each other. Props to you.
Yeah.
So
it could be that, I want to believe that it's just them working us, because I think that would be great. Like, because I don't think it's a secret in the entire wrestling world that Austin Aries can be a bit arrogant, and some would say rightfully so. So maybe there is legit animosity between Austin and Johnny, but there have been guys in wrestling, they've had animosity before. They still got to work together. So maybe
they're still professional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a combination of the two things. Maybe he's just trying to get it over with. You never know. But
yeah.
Hopefully it won't be too bad.
So as for our predictions, Tommy went 3 and 4. I went 4 and 3.
So close.
So close.
For the second time in a row, I've been that off though. Damn it.
Hey, it's hard to pick some of these things.
It is. Cool. That's true. Wrestling is very unpredictable.
Right.
Unless Roman Reigns is in the ring.
Right.
Make Roman look strong.
Make him look strong, damn it. All right, so our WrestleCast ratings 0 to 5, 5 being WrestleMania 17, 0 being December to Dismember. Tommy.
Why do I still laugh at that?
I don't know, it's great. That's why I said it. Tommy, you go ahead and go first. So.
In all fairness, I'm gonna give it a 4 because it's like they're really trying. I mean, it wasn't a perfect show, but just the amount of effort, Impact he's putting forward, because one reason I go for is like to even dare to be different enough to have the whole Ali and Su Yung thing, to have the nerve to try to pull a freaking B horror movie thing out of nowhere during one of their biggest pay-per-views. That takes some guts to just for that payoff, to think this is going to pay off. And I think it did, because, not necessarily, of course it wasn't, good. It was silly enough to get people talking. Like, everyone's going to be like, hey, did you know that Impact, they did like a horror movie thing for their whole Alice Young angle? That's so stupid. And people are like, no, really? Let me check it out. It just worked. It just worked. If someone said, oh, crap, that's crazy, I should see it, it just worked.
Whether you're getting a view, exactly.
Yeah, whether good, bad, or indifferent, if people are talking about it and they're watching it, that's, it's just good publicity. Mm-hmm. Eric Bischoff once said, controversy creates cash. And this isn't really controversial. It's just a silly decision, but it's a silly decision that got people talking. And then you do have stars like Austin Aries, Johnny Impact, Eddie Edwards, Tommy Dreamer showing up. And, Rich Swan and Matt Sydal in the opening and everything like that. You have guys who can put on great matches and did. And you had a little bit of, wrestling fun in the meantime. Great. Let's roll it.
I had a 4 also on this. This was just a solid show throughout. There was my biggest knock on Impact / TNA has always been the production.
Yeah.
Granted, it was a small venue. You work with what you had, but sometimes just the camera cuts that they have while the live action is going on. There's always just so much going on, and the camera guys, I feel like they miss it.
It's hard Ultimate X matches.
Yeah.
So
matches are great. There's high intensity and stuff like that, but sometimes you maybe have to just like spread the little things out because that way the fans catch everything. You're on TV or pay-per-view. I'm great wrestle for the people in the crowd, but for people that are spending the $40 to buy the show, that's my only knock on it.
Yeah.
As far as the entertainment, what was put on the ring, awesome job. I think Impact / TNA is on its way back up.
I agree with that for sure.
In its heyday. I call it its heyday, it's so old now. It was big about developing young stars.
Yeah.
And, it got away from that, and now I think it's getting back to that. So hopefully they really start building these young talent up, building people from the ground up. I did enjoy seeing the news that they're going to be going back to Nashville.
Yeah.
Started
to the asylum.
To the asylum, which is pretty damn cool. So
I would like to try to figure out when they're going to do that, because I'm legitimately considering trying to make a trip, because
Nashville's beautiful.
Yeah, and that and a lot of my favorite TNA memories are from watching DVDs from the asylum. If you guys can ever pick up like TNA Best of Year 1 history, if you can pick up like AJ Styles' very first, or even like I think their newest compilation has pretty much all of his old stuff. Raven's first DVD, Jeff Hardy when he debuted there after his WWE stint and everything like that. The Asylum had great shows. They put on some fantastic stuff during their time there, which got the people talking about it. It was a small venue that they would pack in everyone they could. It's like the old ECW arena, but it was great. You had like the legendary cage matches between America's Most Wanted and Triple X. You had AJ Styles winning the world title a couple of times from Jeff Jarrett, and Raven's debut. That the other thing. It was just a great building. Historic.
Probably if you subscribe to the GWN app as well.
Yeah.
The Global Wrestling app, you can probably see a lot of those old matches as well. So
yeah, my problem is I have them all on DVD somewhere, so I kind of don't need
Best of AJ Styles Volume 1 and 2. Right?
Yeah, I do have both of those actually.
So that was our review of Bound for Glory. A solid job.
Yeah.
Everybody involved. We're really looking forward. Hope you guys, after putting on such a great show, pick up from here and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
The road is tough sometimes getting back to where it was, but be patient and just keep working. You guys are putting something great together.
Yeah, I think the patient part especially, because if you get because they were patient the first time, and I think after about 3 or 4 years, it really paid off. So I think if they're just let it build back up again, they can get there again.
Just don't
Hire Vince Russo.
No, well that and don't disrespect the people that brought you there.
There you go.
That get you there. Yeah. So that's our recap of it. If you want to share your thoughts with Bound for Glory, you can tweet at us or share a comment here on this video and let us know your opinion. We're going to respond to it. So now on to Crown Jewel. Shifting gears here, going from Impact to WWE. Now, we're not previewing Crown Jewel. There's still more being set up. They pretty much have the World Cup matches set as well. But there's been a lot of talk over the last week, especially after we recorded our episode, about whether this show is going to happen. And a lot of this centers around what's happened to a journalist in Istanbul, Turkey. Just to kind of give you a quick backstory, Jamal Khashoggi, he is a Saudi citizen. He's in the United States as a permanent resident. He works for the Washington Post as a journalist. He was in Istanbul, Turkey. He visited the Saudi embassy just because he needed to get some paperwork done so he could marry his fiancée, who was from Turkey. He went in there to get it, but he never came back out. And his disappearance has been quite controversial, to say the least, as far as, is he dead? Is he missing? Did the Saudi government have a hand in this? I don't know. There's some reports of intelligence that said the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has authorized him. Why they're going after this guy might have a lot to do with when he's working with the Washington Post. He has a history of maybe criticizing the way the Saudi government is run, their regime, their human rights records, things that they've done. I know they're starting to progress. King Salman's doing to do things, but this guy's been critical of that family for years as far as how they run a business, or how they run the country. Excuse me. So there's supposed intelligence that says they were trying to find a way to get him back to Saudi Arabia to punish him, I guess, for the things he said. Just the way they run this country is borderline communist. Can't really speak out, and some reports are saying this basically was an interrogation gone wrong. They were trying to force him to go back, and it's possible that he was murdered. We don't know. There's some pretty grotesque details. I'll leave it up to you to Google them if you want.
Yeah.
The embassy itself has been investigated by the Turkish police, and there's a lot of things coming out, like why a bunch of random cleaning supplies showed up a few days before this guy was supposed to make a visit. So it smells like a setup. I don't know. So how does this relate to wrestling? Well, various politicians and groups have canceled their trips to Saudi Arabia for an upcoming conference or summit, something that Saudi's trying to show that they're making progress. They're trying to be more up to date, I guess getting it with the modern world, so to speak.
Yeah. Doing away with the old traditional ways.
Where WWE comes to this is that before Greatest Royal Rumble, they signed a 10-year, $450 million deal with the Saudi Arabian government to bring some entertainment over there. For Crown Jewel itself, WWE is due $45 million just for the show, which explains why they're able to pay top stars, older stars like The Undertaker, get Kane out of his mayor for a little bit, Shawn Michaels to come back, Brock Lesnar to go all the way out there because he's getting a hell of a payday.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of politicians, whether you're Republican or Democrat, a lot on both sides of the aisle have called for the U.S. stop doing business with Saudi Arabia, WWE to pull out of Saudi Arabia, not to do the show there. Trump, for what it's worth, has said he doesn't want to just jump to conclusions because they have an arms deal with Saudi Arabia that would cost too many American jobs. I don't know the deal, but
yeah,
so where it got crazy was that all of a sudden, Crown Jewel was taken off the WWE's calendar of events on their website. References to Saudi Arabia were removed, and reports later is that was a mistake. Someone spokesperson of WWE said, "Look, that was mistakenly done. The show is still going on. They're still advertising it. They've still done shows to promote it." I guess our question now is, should Crown Jewel go on as planned? Right now, the only way I see it getting canceled is if the U.S. government comes in and says, "Hey,
you can't
we're
go."
banning travel." Much like the government doesn't allow U.S. citizens to travel to North Korea or other countries that are on their blacklist or something.
Yeah.
if that were ever to happen, this would, there's no way anybody could go from the U.S. to Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
So should WWE go on with the show? I guess it's a question I pose for you with everything that's going on. And my personal feeling is, I don't know what's going on there. Greatest Royal Rumble was a great show.
Yeah.
But my thing was, when I looked at the overall shot of it, you basically had the elitists, the royal family around the ring, and then you had the regular citizens.
Yeah.
It was back far. It was like so far away, like you could barely see anything.
Yeah.
And it almost felt like a propaganda show promoting what Saudi Arabia has done. I know the Crown Prince is trying to change things there. He's allowing women to drive now. There were men and women sitting together at Greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
He's trying to do more things, but they still got upset when they had a promo.
The Best of Both Worlds promo. And
they were Best of Both Worlds, showing women on there wrestling. All of a sudden, that was a big controversy in Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, there was some other, I forget what country it was. Was it Qatar?
Qatar?
Qatar, as it's actually pronounced.
Yeah.
With Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks wrestling. And, the chance of this is progress. Like, if smaller countries like that can do it, why can't Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
But, I mean, hey, it's their traditions, it's their religion, it's what they
Yeah.
do. So I don't know if this should go on as planned. I mean, if it comes out that this government stepped in and murdered this journalist for what he wrote in a country like ours, that in the United States that promotes freedom of speech, freedom of the press, if it comes out that this government admits that they did it, I doubt they will, but they're admitting that they did it. Their investigators, like, all signs are pointing to, hey, they killed this guy just for what he said, just for, what he's writing. I don't think WWE should go over there. I think it sets a bad precedent, almost as if they're saying they endorse what they're doing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and of course all this is speculation. No one knows the full story and everything. So you have to add the word allegedly to pretty much everything nowadays. But the thing is, if it comes out like in any way, shape, or form that had anything to do with it, I agree that they shouldn't go through the show because, I think Gail Kim may say on a speech or something like that. I think she said it. I think it was Gail Kim. She said like, Vince, you have enough millions. You don't need to do this show. So it's like, I mean, I get why you would want a big vehicle like WWE to show we're changing and everything. But then if something like this comes out, well, you can't really do that then. But at the same time, if it comes out, like close we get that they had something to do with everything like that, or even like and everything, I think to Vince McMahon's credit, I really don't think that he's that much of a guy who just wants the money where he would go through the show like that. He is a guy who's all about the bottom line, all about the money. This is true, but I do think even he knows where the limit is, because let's to relive a pretty terrible memory, but a pretty hopeful one too. When 9/11 happened here in the United States, depending on where you're watching this in the world, one of the very few gatherings of any kind, sports, entertainment, whatever, what have you, was SmackDown that very same week.
That was the first one.
That was the very first one.
Yeah.
SmackDown went ahead and put on the show and said
live at the time.
Live. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
We're putting on the show. We're going to do it. During that time in SmackDown, there was a few going on. It was WWF versus the Alliance of it and everything. They could have done the whole thing where just WWF guys were out there, sort of the sport, and Invasion guys could have been in the back. But no, everybody was out there. Everybody was standing because, this was a serious moment. This was not anything to be playing around with. And Vince McMahon gave a strong speech. Because I think, he may be all about what he wants for his company. He wants his people as champion, wants this person champion. At the same time, though, he's not completely disconnected from the world. He's not a completely cold-hearted guy. Of course, there can be people who claim otherwise. But what I'm saying is, he's not to the point where he's willing to commit utter career suicide just to have his dollars. If this comes out on the worst ends against Saudi Arabia, I think Vince McMahon has enough clout and enough of his good conscience to say, yeah, we're not going to do this. We'll either run the show somewhere else. We'll have some kind of deal with the fans. We'll give them this. We'll give them that. But yeah, we're not going to do this. We can't. We can't do this and still claim. We'll make the claims we can for our company. We can't do it.
Yeah, there's the thing about it too. WWE's publicly traded, so
yeah. So so many people will pull out right away and then watch TNA. Impact and Ring of Honor jump up.
Yeah. Now, say for hypothetical, should Crown Jewel get canceled? There's a couple of options here. The one option I seem to like is that they could move this show to Manchester.
I do like that one.
So why I say that is good because the following Raw and SmackDown after Crown Jewel are actually going to be taped in Manchester, England. But the venue that they're doing it at, the arena is wide open on that Sunday. Now, can you imagine having a live network special / pay-per-view in Manchester, England, which would be about noon our time when they're showing it?
Yeah.
Which would be great. I'd be
down for that.
Watch some football, watch some wrestling while I'm eating lunch, right?
Nice.
So I think that would be a better option because it's been I don't know how long since the UK got out like a wrestling pay-per-view or an event such as that.
Last one that big. This can't be the only one. The last one I remember was the year they got SummerSlam where British Bulldog and Bret Hart main evented. That was in '92, I think.
Yeah, it was so long ago.
Yeah, and I think they've had other reviews since then, but nothing like this big. I mean, if they could, you get this in this big, we'll see.
Some other options that have been discussed is like possibly moving some matches to Survivor Series. The Universal Champion Championship Triple Threat could go to Survivor Series, which is in LA this year, right? LA? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
could just have Brock Lesnar not show up. Who said that?
And AJ and I think AJ and Dan O'Brien. I think they're already advertising a rematch depending on who wins at Survivor Series. Mm-hmm. So they already have that set up there. So where it gets interesting is where the World Cup's going to fall in. So which is why I think it's even more of a bigger deal that you could have this show if you can't have it in Saudi Arabia. Move it into Manchester and you still do the World Cup thing as planned. Even though there's not a British guy in the World Cup qualifiers, but that's a discussion for later. So,
and again, Pete Dunne is the longest reigning WWE champion in WWE history, in modern WWE history. Mm-hmm. He's beaten Brock Lesnar's reign. Thank God.
Hopefully, he's healthy. By the way, so
yeah, me too. Yeah.
So we'll see. We're recording this on a Tuesday. So by the time this publishes, we're hoping. If there's not some news that's resolved, we're going to keep an eye on it, follow our Twitter account. I'll see if there's any news that comes out and post that on Twitter and just kind of keep fans up to date. So that's our thought on the Crown Jewel controversy. Now, some rumors that have come out there. We can thank Tama Tonga for really pushing this forward. So I'll let you start. You're the Japan guy.
So go ahead and move back. This is my stuff, son. But okay, so like you said, I'm the New Japan guy.
Yeah.
Tama Tonga, for those of you who don't know, when who you guys know as Finn Balor was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, he was Prince Devitt. He started the Bullet Club. Yes, Finn Balor started the Bullet Club. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. I know because I was following New Japan heavy when the Bullet Club started. It was him and Bad Luck Fale, Carl Anderson of Gabby Gals, and Tama Tonga. There were only 4 members of Bullet Club once upon a time. Yes, they NWO'd this once upon a time.
Yep.
Their logo was even different. It was actually a bullet, and it said Bullet Club on it. It wasn't a skull. That didn't come to like a year later. So, those of you who, you probably didn't know that much, but you probably know everything else that's happening recently. And Tama Tonga right now has just been pulling back the curtain to the point where you don't know what's real anymore. This is even worse than the Austin Aries thing that's happening with him and Johnny Impact, because he keeps saying to the elite guys, oh, good luck in the WWE. This is a war. We're going to finish you off before you leave. And he even sent a tweet to Finn Balor, who he sent him happy birthday. He told Finn Balor, oh, yeah, thanks for sending me happy birthday. Hey, we're going to send you some old guys that we're not using anymore. Don't forget what they did to you before you left. And I was just like, what's happening?
He's replied to some tweets from from the Young Bucks as well. saying have fun in WWE.
Yeah, well, the Young Bucks are not helping this fire either because they even said that their last Bullet Club design is up now.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
That's what they said.
They did say that.
And they're doing and on the whole Being the Elite show, they're doing a whole lot of counting down stuff that they're not explaining either. And even on the last episode, Marty said he's inviting Nick to something on January the 1st. And Nick said, I don't know where I'll be January the 1st. So, I don't know. The Young Bucks have worked us before. Kenny Omega has worked us before. Cody has worked us before. And my God, they're friends with Chris Jericho, who is working everyone every day. I'm convinced Chris Jericho wakes up in the morning to say, how can I work the wrestling world today? And man, does he do a great job of it. Now, here's one.
Let's not forget that Kenny Omega said,
yeah.
I would love it. Was it him that said I would love to wrestle? Rollins said that I would love to wrestle.
Yeah, he would love to. Rollins said I'd love to wrestle Kenny Omega.
Rollins is jumping again, feel the fire. I would love to.
Yeah,
roll that.
And I know the New Day have been, and even Kenny and Kofi Kingston said in an interview once he would love it if the New Day and the Elite faced off, and everyone's wanted that for God knows how long. Only because
aside from Street Fighter.
Yeah.
So
and the main reason I want is not only would that match be fantastic physically, it would be hilarious. Because these are the only 6 guys who could cut promos on each other while the match is happening, and it would make you feel like it's still organically part of the match. It wouldn't feel like the match is stopping.
Can you imagine the Up, Down, Down episodes too?
Dear God, that would be fantastic. There would have to be a whole separate series just for the 6 of them.
So what are we getting to? The idea, basically, the rumors are that the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Cody, and possibly Paige, are going to the WWE. Possibly in January.
Now, the funny part is, the one name that's not really thrown into this mix as much is Marty Scurll, which is amazing since his girlfriend, Deonna Purrazzo, is actually in WWE. She's in NXT, she's in the Mae Young Classic, and I think they both do live in Florida, and his name is not often mentioned with being part of the Elite going, so we don't know what that means. We don't know where that lies.
What is his contract situation with Ring of Honor? Do we know? I mean,
I don't know his contract situation. With New Japan either, I gotta look that up. Now, one thing I do know that might be fueling some of these rumors was another rumor saying that Gaijin talent, which is foreigner in Japan, for those of you who aren't weebs like I am, that foreigner talent in Japan isn't happy. Which Tama Tonga and the current president of New Japan, have both vehemently denied. Tama Tonga even called out Dave Meltzer, saying that he's full of crap. Even said it on Twitter.
Sometimes he is.
Yeah, this is true actually.
Yeah.
The New Japan president has said, no, that's it's not what we're doing. We're not it's like but he did admit, he's like saying, are we giving importance to the talent that's from here? Yes, of course we are. It's a Japanese company. They're Japanese. They are our talent who's homegrown here. We can't just ignore them at all because they're the guys you have like the Young Lions who come up through the system. They weren't somewhere else and got brought in. They are coming up through the system. Guys like Okada, guys like Evil, who came up through the system. Guys like Jay White. Jay White's a foreigner, but he came up through the New Japan system. He was the Young Lion first. And I'm sorry. I didn't believe that report from the. Usually, a lot of reports I try to maybe it's possibly true. I really couldn't believe that report off the bat because Jay White is from New Zealand, and if there is a guy who's getting more hotter spots right now than him, aside who's not in the Bullet Club, well, okay, he wasn't when this first happened. It was Jay White because now he's in Bullet Club, but he's with the OGs. He's with Tama Tonga with those guys, and he even turned on Chaos. He was the guy who pinned Kenny Omega for the U.S. Championship in the first place. You can't convince me that a guy who's doing all that is unhappy because there's no way. He's being set up for these big spots. Kenny Omega's still there for now, and he's been propped up by the company for the longest time. You can't convince me that he's not, one of their bigger stars. Why would he be unhappy? Cody just won the U.S. Championship. Why would he be unhappy? If these guys want to leave because of just what they want to do, that's fine. I just don't believe the rumor that they're unhappy. They're being treated so wrong to the point where, they got to go. No, I don't believe that. I just think that if they do leave, they want to. Not because someone's saying, hey, you did this, that, and the other thing. No, I just can't believe that. Especially when the Bullet Club OGs is pretty much nothing but Gaijin talent, save a few guys. And, especially now with, they had Gedo and Jado. And, but Tama Tonga, he's Tongan, for God's sakes. Bad luck Fale too. Like, and so that's why that's one reason why I do respect Tama Tonga's candor, or let's say lack of tact when he gets on Twitter. He's one of the main reasons I'm still on Twitter. It's like Tama Tonga's tweets are live as all get out. You gotta follow this guy.
He'll take shots at Roman Reigns too.
He took one. Did you? He did an entrance one time.
Yeah.
And he slammed his fist into the ground, but he came up with a too sweet. Yeah. And I was like, Tonga, you's a bitch.
You gotta love it.
Yeah, I actually met him once. He's a very nice guy.
And they say that about Gaijin talent, but you know what? A lot of these Gaijin talents were made in New Japan.
Yeah, they were.
Prince Devitt, now Finn Balor. He was on the scene, but when he got to New Japan, he became a star.
And how many people thought AJ Styles was done when he left TNA, but showed up in Japan and it was like.
I mean, we knew he was going to be something big.
Yeah, but I knew like wherever he went, he was going to make it. But I was like, some people were saying, "Oh, AJ's done. He left TNA." No, he went to New Japan and just like freaking owned. It was like a career resurrection, and because he went up against their best guys, because he's just that good. I think if anyone is complaining about being in New Japan, well, are you that good, or are they not giving you spots because you suck? Yeah. That kind of sounds like a personal problem, but that's on New Japan.
I think whatever is going on, Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th is going to have a lot to do with where we go.
Absolutely,
that is going to be the be all end all. So
that and that which is such a their rock to WrestleMania is New Year's Dash. Yeah, it's like the show. It's like the show they have it. I think they hold it in Cork and Hall every year, and that's just going to be the show to watch because that's when after Jericho lost to Omega at Wrestle Kingdom, that's when he jumped Naito the very next night. So that's their Raw after WrestleMania, which I love it every year. It's just so much fun to me. So
we are, for the record, hoping to do a preview and recap when it gets to Wrestle Kingdom. So, and
once again, step back. That's gonna be my stuff.
He's gonna be hosting that.
Oh
that's
yeah,
his thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. New Year, new Tommy, right? So yeah, that's we'll see how that lays out, and we'll see where these rumors are, and see this talent that people have been clamoring for to come to WWE, and in Cody's case, come back to WWE, finally make it back. So we shall see.
My personal opinion is they shouldn't leave, but that's just my opinion.
We'll see. Yeah. There might be time for them to come home. I'm sure he's gonna be homesick after a while.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
Well, that's our show for today.
Yes, sir.
Again, what do you think about Bound for Glory? What do you think about the Crown Jewel controversy? What do you think about these rumors about some Bullet Club guys coming to WWE possibly? We'll see. Let us know on our Twitter account at @CCG_WrestleCast. You can comment also on this video, and we'll call some out. We go over this stuff again when we get to Crown Jewel and see what happens. Is the show going to go on? Next week, we'll be back. My wife, Tina, will be back, and we will be previewing Evolution.
Yes.
The first all-women's WWE pay-per-view.
I'm very excited for that.
Send us a tweet or also comment with your match predictions for Evolution.
Please do.
As you're watching Raw and SmackDown, those matches are coming out. I think there's a Battle Royal coming out now.
Yeah.
And some championship matches. It's looking to be an amazing show. I'm pretty excited about it myself. So.
Except for one more.
Yeah, well.
Everything else looks
if
good.
It's a beatdown, she's going to take care of that do-nothing bitch. Yeah, I said it. Ronda, I'm in your corner on that one.
1,000% I'm in Ronda's. I was in Ronda's corner before this ever even happened.
Look, all I'm going to say is this. Nikki, your Instagram post is not when you respond to it.
No,
do it on TV and I'll respect you.
Okay, next week I'm going to go in on that.
Yeah, And you didn't start the Women's Revolution. You didn't make the Divas Championship.
I meant to make a video on my own YouTube channel about that.
AJ Lee made that Divas Championship mean something. And you rode her coattails off for that one.
Ooh, you finna preach. I'm gonna take a test.
Yeah. It's gonna be a fun show next week.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. We may be here for a while.
Until then, heels and baby faces, this is Tommy.
Thanks guys.
I'm JC. And as always, remember, pro wrestling is real.
People are fake.